Sure. I'll also introduce everyone behind me.
There you go. Yep. All set.
All right, good morning. My name is Joshua Berniger, Chief of Police of the Watertown Police Department. Spelling of the last name is B as in boy, E-R-N-E-G-G-E-R. I am joined with me from your left to right with our Deputy Chief, Renee Dominguez, our Patrol Commander, Lieutenant Christopher Paquin, and our Detective Division Commander, Lieutenant Jared DeAndrea. On September 30th, the Watertown Police Department responded to 28 Hadley Street in Oakville for a report of a teenage boy who had fallen down the stairs. Arriving officers and medical technicians found the boy laying in the downstairs living room with a significant injury to his head. An investigation determined that the boy, who had been home alone at the time, had accessed an unsecured firearm in an upstairs bedroom and accidentally shot himself in the head. The Watertown Police Department's Detective Division executed a search and seizure warrant at that residence and recovered 20 unsecured firearms as well as assorted ammunition in that upstairs bedroom where the incident had occurred. That bedroom belonged to the boy's grandmother. Her name is Elizabeth Salsevsky, and her partner, Jose Soto Barrios. It was determined that all of the firearms were illegally registered to Soto Barrios. Also residing in the home is the boy's mother, Patricia Minute, and her 3 other children, ranging in age from 2 to 15. At the conclusion of the investigation, arrest warrants were secured for Elizabeth Salsevsky, Jose Soto Barrios, as well as the boy's mother, Patricia Minute. All 3 individuals turned themselves in yesterday. Salsevsky and Soto Barrios were both processed on 1 count of criminal negligent storage of a firearm, 4 counts of risk of injury to a minor, and 4 counts of reckless endangerment. Minute was charged with 4 counts of risk of injury to a minor, as she was allowing her children to reside in a home knowing there were unsecured weapons in that residence. Salsevsky and Soto Barrios were held on a court-set $200,000 bond, while Minute was held on a $25,000 bond, and all are scheduled for arraignment this week. The only good news I have to report in this incident is that the staff at the Connecticut Children's Medical Center reported that the boy's recovery from his injury has been remarkable and miraculous, so much so that he was recently released. Otherwise, this is a tragic story about an entirely preventable accident that resulted in life-altering injuries to a teenage boy and his immediate family members facing criminal charges. Guns are deadly weapons. It only takes a quick pull of a finger to have deadly consequences, consequences that children simply do not understand. It is for this reason that we have a law in place in the state of Connecticut requiring gun owners to secure their weapons so that they do not end up in the hands of our children or in the hands of criminals. I would like to thank our dispatchers, our responding officers, our detectives, and medical technicians from the Watertown Fire Department for their professional handling of this incident. I'd also like to thank the Department of Children and Families and the Waterbury State's Attorney's Office for their collaboration. Thank you. Take any questions if you have them.
Can you talk about how important it is that the owners of these guns and the people living in the house, the adults basically, are being charged for this? It wasn't just it was an accident as maybe it would have been 20 years ago?
Yeah, you know, kids are curious, and they're going to, if they find a gun, they're going to look at it and want to play with it. You know, many kids have already played with toy guns in their life, and it looks very much like anything that they may have played with previously. And of course, anything that they're told not to touch, children, of course, are going to touch. It's for that reason we have these laws in place to keep these guns secure so that they don't get their hands on them and either hurt themselves or another child. And we've seen this happen time and time again in the state of Connecticut, which is why our legislature enacted these laws. So, you know, the parents and grandparents, although they didn't pull the trigger here, this accident would not have happened if they had secured their weapons.
And obviously this has now ripped this family apart. You know, you've got adults in jail, you've got kids spread all over the place. Do you know if they're staying with family or if they've been turned over to the system? You know, this is pretty, that
Yeah, it's an absolutely terrible story. I'm not sure if we have that answer at this moment. Are you aware of that, Lieutenant?
The Department of Child, DCF is working with them, and I know that they, basically they're in contact with them, and there is resources available to them to make sure that they are still in touch and that they're still protected as well, so.
And just for clarity, just to make sure all three have been arraigned, all three adults have been arraigned.
So Soto Barrios and the mother, Patricia Minute, were both arraigned yesterday, while Salveski was suffering from a medical episode and was brought to the hospital, so her arraignment is being delayed. She's still in our custody at this time until we are able to get her to court.
So she's not gonna be arraigned today?
Correct.
Okay.
And the others
Hopefully
are-
tomorrow.
Are the other two out on bond?
Are you aware?
I'm not getting anything back from the court yet.
Yeah, we haven't received word back from court on what their release has been. Whether it's being held on bond or whether they've been released, we haven't received word on that yet.
But the bond was 200,000.
Upon arrest, yes.
Is the grandmother in your custody right now, or that's the term?
She remains in our custody but is at the hospital.
Okay.
That's
Until
correct.
she can go through the arraignment.
Once she's discharged from the hospital, she'll be brought to court on the next available court date.
Chief, regarding unsecured weapons, is this a rare instance, or is this something that you see commonly on other calls, things like that?
So it's not something we see commonly on other calls, but I think a quick Google search, you'll find how many incidents have occurred across our state in the prior decade. Each one is a tragic and sad story. This does happen time and time again. It's why guns are now being required to be sold with gun locks as part of that purchase, and why we have a law in place that says these guns have to be secured so that our vulnerable populations don't get their hands on them.
And so, what's next in the whole scenario here?
Well, the judicial system takes over from here on out, and their case proceeds through court. The healing this family is going to have is going to be extensive. This is a sad story all around that's changed a lot of lives, all because guns weren't properly secured. All set? Great. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you, Chief.